Where can I find that energy, the raw magic that comes down from the grassroots?
Bars and Stars 2, it's happening tomorrow, actually, at the John Cupid Carnival Village. And the theme this year is Blue, Building Lives, Unleashing Excellence. This morning, I welcome to the Now Morning Show Assistant Commissioner of Prisons, responsible for PR and Communications, Ricardo Das, as well as Prisons Officer 2, responsible for Programs and Industry Department, Mr. Wendell Bompard. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
How are we doing this morning?
Good, good. Excited to be here.
Yeah, ready for tomorrow? Everything set up and ready? Good to go?
We know that the village is ready.
Right.
And we are ready. We've been preparing for the last couple of months, and we are definitely ready for tomorrow.
Let's recap a little bit and go back to last year. You had the first installment of Bars and Stars.
Right.
Give us an overview as to how it went.
All right. So last year would have been the first, as we said, in Carnival Village, right? But it's not the first Wednesday before Carnival performance that we have for the inmates outside. Mm-hmm. Usually over the last couple of decades, we've been doing it at the Woodford Square. So that was always a culmination of the internal carnival, the competitions and everything. Yeah. So we used to take it down to Woodford Square, where we'd have the public passing through, and they would see what's happening, see the talent from the inmates and stuff like that. We had the opportunity last year to take it to the Carnival Village. So we decided to make it more of a production, right? So I'm the creative director for that event. So last year, Bars and Stars, of course, came up. The name we came up with, Bars and Stars, is a play on bars in music. And of course,
prison
bars, you know, so it's them taking the fact that they're behind bars and, that transformative power of music and bringing it out now and, showing themselves to be the stars that they really are, from the inside. So last year was a tremendous first time effort out there. We started promptly at 7, everything flowed. It was a tremendous event. So of course, we're back again at the Carnival Village this year.
Ricardo, let me ask, in terms of the compositions that would have been delivered at the Bars and Stars or at this competition every year when it happens, what's the quality of the compositions as far as you're concerned?
It's very high quality composition based on what we would have had previously. Just of last year, November, we would have been privy to a workshop being afforded by NCC to the persons who are participating in this year's event. So therefore, they would have been privy to actually composing their own songs.
Nice.
As well as presentation skills in the way they would present their songs on the day in question. So we'd have moved up a notch from where we were to where we are now, and we're looking forward to continued improvement as we go forward.
When I have to ask, how do we select which inmates are allowed to be a part of this competition? Is there like a rule of everybody's allowed if they have a calypso?
Well, everybody's allowed, of course, because we are a prison environment. Once there are no infractions and that kind of thing, because we reward good behavior. Right. But once they have a calypso, there's a vetting process, of course. The officers on the ground will listen to it, will go through the lyrics, ensure that it is
appropriate.
It's appropriate, right? We don't censor in terms of double or tons and stuff like that. But of course, anything that we have to look at as far as security is concerned and that kind of thing. And once it's of the standard, but quite honestly, we allow some things to pass because sometimes you need that humor. I just say it, So, but for this competition though, for the John Cupid, that final show.
Bars and Stars 2.
Right, Bars and Stars 2. What we are doing is that we take the 10 highest scores throughout the internal calypso. So we'd have police people that have had their show, maximum security prison, women's prison. So we take the top 10 scores and they will be competing against for the prison calypso monarch, all right, at John Cupid.
In terms of the themes that we're seeing coming out from those 10, the top 10, what sort of themes are we covering?
In terms of the calypsos?
Yeah, the calypsos.
Everything from social commentary as far as the country is concerned, the government, crime, to basic, what we call prison songs that are kind of inherent. I would say like inside jokes sometimes, things that you would hear. You hear topics about like the food, topics about little infractions, little things. But of course, the overarching theme, of course, is always somebody has mainly something to do with social commentary and quite a few on political commentary as well.
All right, so we're talking Bars and Stars 2. It's happening tomorrow night, kicking off at 7 p.m. sharp at the John Cupid Carnival Village. Now, In terms of, all right, so we mentioned the topics being covered, we mentioned the themes being covered. In terms of people wondering about safety, if they want to know how safe it's going to be, Ricardo, tell us in terms of what safety precautions we have in place, because John Cupid Carnival Village is open, it's free to the public. Anybody can walk in, anybody can come at any point in time. What sort of safety measures do we have
Definitely,
in place?
we would have had operational within looked at the entire venue and would have provided security for the entire population would be there on the John Cupid night in question. So we would have parking facilities there for our guests and invitees, as well as we would have security internal provided in and around Cupid the village for the night in question. So it should be a safe and secure environment for all to come and enjoy.
All right.
And it's a collaborative effort too with the police, with fire, with the security down at NCC. So it will be very, very safe.
Now, tell me something. In terms of, I noticed, I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name and I cannot remember it, and I am really sorry about that. But he would have won the Prisons Monarch before, and he performed in Calypso Fiesta, if I'm not mistaken.
This year?
Yeah, there was one this year who performed.
We had, well, as you know, in 2023, I think it was, we had the very first inmate making it to Calypso Fiesta. That was Romel Zama.
And he was on our show a couple of weeks ago with the group that he's a part of now. That a couple other former inmates are a part of, and they have some very, very powerful songs.
So he is out now, but then this year we had two actually. We had one making it to Calypso Fiesta. That's Marlon Lee.
Right.
All right. He went up as under the sobriquet Bitter Honey.
Bitter Honey. That's what it was.
And the quick story on that is that the rumor is that he's the son of somebody whose name is the opposite of that. Right. So he's Bitter Honey. So you can think
it's not a rumor. I say it on national TV.
All right. Well, no, but I want to make sure it's alleged, right? Yeah. So Sugar Aloes, yes. So, right, and then we had the very first female making it to the National Queens competition, coming out from women's prison. That's Avalon Let. So she had made it to the finals of that competition. So we are doing well, and we really have to thank you to NCC, and they really, and Tuco, they really give us that as Mr. Das would have mentioned, that help. Because prisons, we are based on that shared responsibility model where we say everybody has a responsibility in the rehabilitation of our inmates. So they come on board, they tutor, they guide, they walk them through, and it's a wonderful experience to be a part of.
And I love that you're saying that everybody has a responsibility in terms of the rehabilitation of the inmates, because we also play a part in that. And
Very
I think
much so.
one of the ways that we as a society can come out and support that initiative is to come out tomorrow night at the John Cupid Carnival Village and listen to some good guys. So hear what these people have to say, because they do have something to say.
They have a lot to say.
They have a lot to say, and I think it's about time that we start listening so we can make sure that we don't have too many more people ending up in this situation.
And it's an entire production. It's a production, it's not as grand, of course, as the March Gras.
Well, I would hope not the March Gras ought to be the grandest.
But it's very close.
It's close.
Very close.
It's close
very
second.
Close. Yeah.
What sort of preparation goes into putting together the production like this? Because, of course, you have inmates from different facilities that you would have mentioned.
The logistics of that, of course, is I wouldn't say is a nightmare. Mr. Das, and they handle that well. But, of course, a lot of movements of inmates sometimes, especially coming along for the final dress rehearsals. The band, of course, is internal, is musical vibrations from MSP. Great musicians. Of course, there's the props to be prepared, the dancers, the characters, the costuming, and everything is done in-house.
Nice.
All the costuming and all the props, everything is done in-house by the inmates.
Nice. Well, we're getting ready to build lives and unleash excellence tomorrow night at the John Cupid Carnival Village. You don't want to miss it. It kicks off at 7 p.m. sharp. Bars and Stars 2. We have the inmates performing, and they're definitely going to come and give you a treat, give you some things to think about as well. Let me say thank you very much to Ricardo Das and Ronald Bompard for joining us this morning and sharing information. Congratulations on this initiative. Keep it up, gentlemen. And I hope that we're able to see through this initiative that we have some more reform, and we have some people who decide that they want to, even if it's music, they want to do for the rest of their life, if they just use it as a platform to go somewhere else. I think it's their job well done.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's take a quick break and we come back with more on the Now Morning Show. Stick around.